Hello and welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and welcome to my March 2025 front garden tour. It is a beautiful morning here in North Texas. I'm on the border of Zone 8A, 8B, and it's just shaping out to be a beautiful start to spring. It is late March and everything in the gardens are waking up. I recently posted a backyard garden tour, so check that out. So I'm going to start right here. Here is Silly Goose. She's our little goose. I realize she needs to be repainted, but I think she's so cute just sitting there watching over the garden there. I will start off with this beautiful row of matrix pansies. I purchased these at Green Acres and put them in the ground in October. I've done this 2 years in a row, putting pansies in the ground in October. And let me tell you, the flat of pansies I think was $22.50 at Green Acres for 18 plants, I believe it is. And you know, $22.50 has lasted and looked beautiful all winter long, and now absolutely thriving in the spring. So it is just, I absolutely love pansies, and they do really well in the snow, in the ice, in the cold. Now, they stop blooming when it gets super cold and snowy and icy and things, but they bounce back super quick, and I just absolutely love them. And then right behind them is a whole row of Dusty Miller, and I think that's just a beautiful backdrop to the pansies. I absolutely love that. I've done that 2 years in a row. Next year I kind of want to do something different, but haven't figured out what that is yet. So anyway, they are beautiful. And then coming in right behind them is just a whole row of daffodils. Some of those are coming out of bloom. Some of them, even behind there, they're just coming into bloom. So that's been really fun. I absolutely love that. I want to add more daffodils as time goes by, but look at those. Oh, I love how I have a little bit of white mixed in. This one is a double flowering. Oh, look at that. How beautiful that is. A lot of those white ones next to it are coming out of bloom, but just absolutely beautiful. So that's the front part of my front garden. And then coming in behind that, I have a large container. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But all around that white container is May-night Salvia. The May-night Salvia used to be a huge clump. This container didn't used to be here. And long story short, I moved this container into the garden here, and it was on top of the May-night Salvia. But I thought it was pretty because the May-night Salvia kind of just all season long last year kind of bloomed all around it. But I have lost some of it. So this part is gone, and there's a little bit still left around there. So, and then I think I'd lost a little bit there. But anyway, May-night Salvia is absolutely beautiful. For me, it's more of a ground cover, and it is starting to put on some buds, wanting to bloom. So hopefully pretty soon that will be absolutely gorgeous. And then I've got this view right there of the tulips with the container in the background is absolutely gorgeous. So let's talk about what's in the container. This is actually a Limelight Standard Hydrangea that I tree formed myself to try and save a little money. I've always wanted one, so I tree formed one myself. It is not perfect by any means, but I've done my best, and I think it's beautiful, and it's starting to come and flower or leaf out. So you can see all of those leaves come in, and so I've trimmed that back heavily to create a strong base for that tree. And yeah, it's not perfectly straight up, but I've done my best. And then what I did in the fall is I picked up some, these are violas, yellow violas, and then some Dianthus, really pretty like hot pink color. Another Dianthus, it's just a slightly different variety. Those are perennial for us. They last all through the winter. There is another color of Dianthus. These are, I want to say they're the same yellow violas, but This one is much, much bigger. So I've got yellow, 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 pink, pink, pink. And wow, I'm loving it now that it's all in bloom again. It wasn't all in bloom all through the winter together. But now that it's all starting to get in bloom, wow, that is spectacular. I really, really love that arrangement, and we'll definitely do that again. I also wanted to call attention, holy moly, this is Superbina Sparkling Amethyst, and this was one plant that I planted back there last year. I got it for something around $6 at Walmart, and it's just phenomenal. I had several verbenas last year, a lot of different types of verbenas, Superbina and not Superbina. So grew lots of them. This one never even, like, it was evergreen through the winter, which is crazy to me. Not all of it was, and a lot of the foliage turned brown, but some of it was evergreen to me. And then as soon as our temperatures started to warm up, this guy started to flower for me again. It's incredible. I can't believe it. We are just at the very beginning of spring, just a couple days into spring, and it is already just budding up like crazy. You can see it over here as well. And then this is the original plant, and it has kind of spread all like a ground cover. So I'm in zone 8. I think this plant goes down to a zone 8. If I'm not mistaken, it might go down to a zone 7, but it overwintered for us perfectly and was the best verbena out of all of the ones I grew last year. It definitely overwintered the best. So Superbina Sparkling Amethyst, absolutely. If you're in zone 8, pick that up because it has a good chance of surviving the winter for you. You can see I've got daffodils all around here, but I do have some perennials tucked in there as well. Yeah, let's go see them. So here is a Sweet William. This one, last year I had a Sweet William in here that was grown from seed, and it got this tall, no joke, as tall as this bird bath, and it was just the most beautiful plant I've ever seen. Honestly, it died. So Sweet William is a biennial. It doesn't necessarily last past 2 years. First year growing leaves, second year flowering, and then they can die. And this one did. So I picked up another Sweet William in the stores. I forget where I picked it up, probably Walmart. And it's doing good, and it is starting to flower. And these are going to be like little panicles. It's just not going to be quite as spectacular, quite as tall as the one that I grew from seed. But I do have more in my backyard that survived, 2 of them. So you can look and see what those look like compared to this. It's a lot bigger. I think it's a better variety, the botanical interest seeds that I grew. But anyway, that's Sweet William. It's going to be gorgeous. This is a daylily that's coming back really beautifully. This is a May Night Salvia, again, putting on some buds. So that's really fun. This over here, I'm disappointed. I love lemon balsedum. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I've tried to grow it in another location in my yard, and it died. And then I tried to grow it last year here in front of this bird bath. It's just not loving life. I mean, that part looks pretty good. That part doesn't look too bad, but I don't think it's gonna last the season, to be honest. We'll have to see. But I love that color pop of yellow/green, and I really hoped that I would have that in front of this bird bath, but I don't know if that idea or dream is going to come to life this year. I may be giving up on lemon balsedum. I'm not sure. There are some plants that I can't grow, and some plants that I can grow phenomenally that others can't. So that's how it goes. Coming back over here, let's see. This guy right there is, I think it's a hot trumpet salvia that is coming back. Here is a Salvia gregii, and sorry, I don't think it's gonna come back. I had just the littlest bit of life, but I pruned it, and I just don't see it coming back, and I think it should be coming back by now. I will probably be taking that out, maybe even today. It didn't bring me a whole lot of joy last year, and I was already thinking of taking it out. I know a lot of you grow Salvia greggii and love it. It is a very heat and drought tolerant plant. I just don't love it for my front garden, and I've got a lot of other things to plant, so I need to make room, and that's going to be a good spot. So next month you'll see something completely different there, I believe. Let's see, what else do I have going on? I have a red daylily over there that's coming up really well. It's a beautiful daylily. I do have a couple tulips that are coming up from last year. Here in Zone 8, tulips do not overwinter for us unless you dig up the bulbs after the leaves die and then store them and then cold treat them and then put them back in the ground in late December, early January. But that one came up. A couple others came up. It's just that they will not flower again. But that's okay. Let's see. Coming over here on this side, I'm going to stick with the back for now. That was that daylily over there. Right here, I have balloon flower. And it is starting to come up just barely. It was grown from seed. The only balloon flower plant that I successfully grew from seed. Those are pretty difficult. I've tried 2 other years to grow balloon flower from seed and haven't really been successful. Even this year, winter sowing it did not come up. But anyway, this one is a beautiful plant, comes back every year. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a purple or blue variety. Fuji blue, I think is what it's called. So very excited about that. And then I have another daylily here and a really nice Dianthus plant that's been here for about a year, just doing amazing over there. And then what you see here and here and even coming up over here, this is variegated Vinca major, and it is a ground cover. It is a very vigorous ground cover here in North Texas. It could be considered invasive, y'all, but I really love it. And I love, it gives purple flowers, and I'm going to show some to you. A couple of them are blooming right now. So, but it is, I planted it over here because this is a shaded area. They do really well for shade, part shade. And I needed something to kind of cover the ground over here. So I did Ajuga, which I'll show you in just a moment. And I planted this variegated Vinca major all over. But what is this, its 3rd year? It is starting to come into the sunshine ligustrum, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I think I'm going to let that happen a little bit. But I don't really want it coming past here because this is like my flower garden and this is where I have more sun. It's just kind of really established itself there. So I will probably be taking some of this out. I haven't quite decided yet. I do kind of, for winter interest, it actually does really well. It stayed pretty green all through winter, so I do love that about it. And I love the variegated leaves. And then let me show you the flowers on it. Look at that. Just gorgeous. I showed you one in my backyard garden tour too, and then you can see it's flowering underneath that hydrangea, and then a little bit over there you can see a pop of purple too. I think one back here is getting ready to flower. So really pretty flowers. And but let me tell you, it is a pretty vigorous ground cover. So think about that before you plant it, and just know that it's going to try and go everywhere. It sends runners under the soil, and it kind of goes everywhere. So I'm going to have to keep a watch, especially on this one. The more and more I think about it, I need to take that one out because I have perennials I need to pop in there, and I don't want it taking over those little seedlings at all. And I think I'm going to take these out too. Lots of work to do still in the garden in this early springtime for sure. I didn't want to ignore the sunshine ligustrum hedge that I have. So I have, how many of them are there? There's, I think 5 of them here, and late winter is the time to go ahead and prune them way back, which is what I did. and I love it, honestly. It's a little bit, there's some holes for sure right there. The wintertime kind of does that to it, especially when you prune it back way hard. You can see where all of the holes are. But what that does is it gives light to the inside of the plant, helps the inside to start, you know, getting a little bit fuller, bushier, and then the top is starting to recover from that hard prune as well. And I really love Sunshine Ligustrum. I think they're rock stars. They do create winter interest. They stay like this all through the winter. You might be able to see like some of them have turned a little bit brown, but that's normal for winter, and then they really flush back very, very quickly in the spring and summer. And then they're heat tolerant, drought tolerant. I mean, they're just a fantastic shrub. One of my favorite shrubs for sure. Let's see. Oh, I did not want to miss talking about this verbena that lasted through the winter. This is a verbena from Callaway's. It's another purple variety, but I had many of these. They kind of died off a little bit, but this one lasted, and I see it's going to put on some flowers here pretty soon. These are gorgeous flowers. They're almost a ombre pink and purple effect, so cannot wait for those to start flowering. Let's see. So coming over here, well, first of all, here's Lambo. He's our garden sheep. So Lambo and Silly Goose, they kind of guard this front garden for us. And over here I have some Burgundy Glow Ajuga. It's absolutely beautiful. It should be starting to put on some blooms here pretty soon. I'm not seeing any, honestly, coming up on this plant. I have another one over there. Again, I was hoping the Burgundy Glow Ajuga would spread a little bit more than it is. If anything, it's actually maybe dying off just a little bit, which I'm a little disappointed in. But there's some right there, and there's oh, see, these are putting on some blooms. I wonder why over here as opposed to over there. But can you see those little buds that are forming? And then these are even taller. So those will be beautiful purple flowers here pretty soon, actually. So Burgundy Glow Ajuga, I love that plant. And here is my Vitex tree. I've seen a lot of people asking questions. My Vitex tree isn't leafing out quite yet. Well, mine is just starting to. So if you're worried, they do wait until like true spring to start leafing out, and that's what this one is doing. So that will be some beautiful purple blooms here pretty soon as well. And then coming around the corner to the corner garden, this is a wow, it's huge, endless summer hydrangea. It's been in the ground for 6 or 7 years, and it's just lovely. I can't believe how tall it is. Its tallest point is almost 5 feet tall up there, but it's coming back to life absolutely beautifully. I don't see any issues with the leaves as they're coming back. Just absolutely beautiful plant. I do have a whole video about how to take care of big leaf hydrangeas like this, Hydrangea macrophylla in North Texas. It is a little bit tricky when you have a super hot climate like we do, but I have a whole video, and I'm here to tell you, you can grow them, and you can grow them successfully, and they will thrive under the right conditions. So check out that video. It's really, really good. And it's how, I mean, I have hydrangeas all over the place in my gardens in the right locations and with the right soil conditions. They do really, really well here in North Texas. So check that out. But again, the variegated Vinca major, I think it looks really pretty around this hydrangea, to be honest. It's honestly like mixing in with this hydrangea branch, but I don't mind that. I think that's really pretty. So we're gonna pop over to my containers. Well, there's one area of the garden that I have to show you. It's over here. Let's see if I can get a good look at it. That is my 3-tier topiary. It is Carolina Sapphire Cypress. I've had it since October. It was my husband's birthday gift to me. I picked it out and I just absolutely love it. I love this color of this like light sage green. I think it adds a beautiful pop to the house, to everything. But absolutely beautiful, and it overwintered really well as well. And I do need to do a little bit of pruning, I see, but I'd like to get it growing a little bit out. Like, you know, there's some areas that I think are bare, so I'm gonna let it grow out a little bit and then perform a prune on it, probably late spring. Underneath it, I have variegated Liriope. This is another purple blooming plant. It just won't put on blooms for me until like, I think late spring, but it's coming along really well. It also is, I would say, semi-evergreen for us here in North Texas. Mine, you know, you can see that some of these are a little bit damaged. The ends of them are, but it's flushing out really quickly. I had a hyacinth here, and another hyacinth was over there somewhere. It's already gone. And those came up from being planted last year, like last winter. And then I have these beautiful violas. They're so gorgeous. I've appreciated these little purple violas so much this winter. They're one of the best things I've had in my garden over the winter time. And then these yellow ones have not always been in bloom, but you know, when they are, they're gorgeous as well. So I've got those planted around. Let's see, I'm going to show you guys over here is my baby gem boxwood hedge. So these have been in the ground for about 3 years. They stay on the smaller side, which I absolutely love. And wow, look at them, like almost no winter damage. I did prune them again in late winter, and you can see all of this new growth already starting. So it's just fabulous boxwood. I love them. They have been a little bit prone to spider mites, but I've really been able to get rid of the spider mites for the most part just by spraying them down with a really harsh nozzle head, and then spray it all off, you know, once a week or so, and they kind of get through okay that way. But you can see there's a little bit of stippling in these old leaves from those spider mites. And then I had hyacinths again pop up from being planted a year ago, and they're done blooming. They didn't pop up in every location, but they are done blooming, but letting them soak up the sun's energy to bloom next year. We'll go ahead and go probably onto the porch to show you the porch containers now. So here is the first one I'm going to talk about, and this is an example of English ivy in the most beautiful sense. Oh, I just love it so much. It's planted in this bottom container, and it's gotten so full that you can't even tell where it stops and the top container ends, kind of. But it's done really, really well. I also have Dianthus planted in there. I'll show you on the other side. You can actually see it. But there's some Dianthus flowers that are trying to poke through in there. But this is a gorgeous evergreen, truly evergreen plant. And it's in containers because if it was in the landscape, it would definitely be invasive. But it's really pretty. And then here on the top, this is a Tradescantia zebrina, and she's not looking the best she has ever looked because she was overwintered in my house. She would not survive out here, but I put her in my house, and you know, the growing conditions in the house are not as great as the growing conditions outside. So, you know, I cut off a lot of the dead, and she's going to come back to life here and look amazing in probably just about a month. But for now, she still looks good. She's still got it going on, that's for sure. And I love the mix of this is like dark purple and light green with the light green variegated leaves. I love that mix. And you can see the Dianthus is poking through over here a little bit through that English ivy variegated. So that's really pretty. Let me show you these containers. So this one has seen better days. These are pansies, matrix pansies. They're just a darker color. I honestly purchased these for Christmas time because they're more of a Christmas color, and never got around to planting them and until about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So they really, they didn't do super well, and this one has not recovered super well either, but here it is. I didn't want to throw them away, and so different things are going to be going in this container really soon. And then here is one that I put together just very recently, and I got these all at Callaway's. I have a whole shopping tour of discovering all of the new colorful things at the nurseries. You can check that out if you wanted to see. But this is what I got from that shopping trip at Callaway's. These are petunias, and these are just their normal store Callaway's petunias at $1.97 each. And I got 2 for this container and 2 for another one that haven't been planted yet. But I got them because they really do look an awful lot like the Proven Winners new petunia for this year, which is Tiara Pink. Looks a lot like that, and it's a lot less expensive, so I thought I would try that. And I think it looks beautiful with this lobelia. And the lobelia is doing really good. And then I got some Creeping Jenny to go on this side that's already kind of spilling over. And then there's a white salvia in there from Callaway's. This is the, goodness, I forget what, it's Callaway's brand, but it's I forget what it's called. But they're supposed to be amazing. And so we'll see how that white salvia does. Right now the petunias are kind of swallowing it up and taking center stage, which is okay. I really like this container. I think it's beautiful. Those pinks and purples. Here is some more of those matrix pansies that were so neglected, and this one's doing better than the other container. But again, those are going to come out pretty soon. I also got this Creeping Jenny container because I figured out that this was less expensive getting this huge thing that I could split into many pieces for many containers rather than buying all of the little containers of it. And anyway, so this is again Creeping Jenny. It's doing really well, and I love it so much that I may just keep it in here. I don't know. It's really pretty. And then over here, this is, let's see if I can get better light on this, a Gerbera daisy. And I received this as a gift last year, and she is a hot pink color, and she has done amazing right here on my porch with part sun, and just, yeah. Oh, she is zone 8. So she's rated down to zone 8, which means in a container, I had to cover her when we experienced zone 8 temperatures, and I did. And the leaves kind of died back, but that's completely expected for a perennial, and she is coming back quick. So quick, as a matter of fact, that she's already putting on a bloom. So that is so exciting. I expect to see a lot more blooms coming up here pretty soon, so I love this plant. Another plant that I absolutely love is this, I think it's Autumn Sunset Azalea. This is one of the things I picked up for myself for my birthday. I love azaleas. I've always loved azaleas, even before I was into gardening like I am now. But I have never been able to keep an azalea alive, especially here in Texas. But then again, I didn't know then what I know now, and I know that this plant can do well under the right growing conditions here in Texas. And the easiest way to give azaleas the right growing conditions, especially for my first time since really knowing a whole lot, is putting it in a container so that I can keep the soil acidified like azaleas desire. And I can also keep it in the right light conditions. If these light conditions don't work, I can move it. So that's what I did. I put it in a container, and it's doing really well. So this was pretty much evergreen for us, except in mid-February, when things were starting to wake up already, we had a huge cold snap back down to zone 8 temperatures, 10-degree weather, and it fried all of this new growth. So you can see a lot of brown on it, and that's just because it was starting to put out new growth when we got super cold temperatures. So it it was like, oh yeah, that new growth can't handle it. But the old growth is fine. And then here are buds that are already forming. So super excited about that. It's doing really well. And then over here is another English ivy container. I have a cute little cone-shaped topiary that I've made out of bamboo sticks for it, and it's just loving life. So I love this. Again, this has been this way all winter long. A beautiful, beautiful arrangement that I can enjoy all year round. And look at the light, the leaves just glowing in the sunlight. I love that. Okay, so here are my porch endless hydrangeas. This hydrangea right here has been in that location, in that container for, what did I calculate? Mother's Day of 2011. So now this year will be 14 years that I've had this plant and been able to keep it alive. It's been a rock star for me, and last year was its best year ever. I counted more than 60 blooms, 60 blooms on this one plant last year, because the winter before was not so harsh, and all of the buds survived that it was growing on the old wood, and so we just had a huge flush of blooms on it, and it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This year will not be as spectacular, again, because we had this huge cold front hit in mid-February. This thing was already starting to leaf out. The buds, obviously, the spring flowers were already set, if you will, on the branches, and so a lot of them were fried, and you can see that, like, all of this above branching is almost done, and all of these, like that, let's see, these all on these nodes were going to be spring buds, and they were all zapped. And so we'll see. There is a lot of growth coming up from the actual old wood, so we'll see if we may have some spring blooms. I'm just not expecting a huge flush of spring blooms from this guy this year. But I did notice yesterday, oh, we've got a Mr. Spider. But I did notice yesterday we have some leaf issues happening. And actually, look, you can see a bud's forming in there. Okay, so we are going to get some flowers. But do you see how these leaves are bumpy and curly? They're not supposed to be like that. The new growth is supposed to look like this, just nice and lush, and, you know, but I've got some that are curling, and that typically means aphids or spider mites, but I don't see any of that activity on this plant. I'm not exactly sure, but I will potentially go in with some Captain Jack's Dead Bug or some insecticidal soap and see if I can get rid of whatever it is that's causing that. And it shouldn't hurt the blooms, I don't think. But yeah, I saw some of these growths are just not looking the way that they should. So probably got to get down to the bottom of that. And then coming over here is another hydrangea, and it is a lace cap hydrangea, variegated lace cap hydrangea. It is absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't noticed already, I love variegated leaves. I've got the variegated vinca, I've got the variegated English ivy, and now I've got the variegated lace cap hydrangea. I'm seeing some of now I'm looking at this, I'm seeing some of the same bumps that I see on the other one. So I just wonder what that is. I'm really not sure. I wonder if it has to do with that cold snap or not. That's interesting, but we will have to see. I've never been able to see this one flower. This is its fourth or fifth season with me, and it's grown huge. It's grown just as big as my other one. So in a container, this is as big as you can kind of expect a hydrangea to get, in my opinion, unless you're talking about a panicle hydrangea. They can get way bigger, but it's grown huge. The foliage is amazing. I absolutely love it, but it has never bloomed for me. And I have found, upon research and experience with another friend who has the exact same plant, I think it takes 4 or 5 years for these guys to bloom. So this is its 4th or 5th year with me, and so I'm hoping this is the year that I would see blooms, except that we had that cold front that came through that may have zapped any blooms that had set. Let me see if I can find any of these that might have any hint of bloom. Trying to look deep in there. Nope. Those are all leaves. So far I'm just seeing leaves. Not seeing any blooms being set, but we'll see. I hope that I see blooms on it. I would love to, but if I don't, I'm still keeping this plant because it's just absolutely spectacular when it's fully leaved out. It's just gorgeous. So keeping it no matter what. I still love it. Here are some extra pansies, lobelia, creeping jenny that I purchased that I could put in another container. I just haven't figured out exactly where to put those quite yet. Probably maybe in one of these, but we'll just have to see. Okay, so I also wanted to talk about my 3-tier planter. I love it so much. I think it's stunning. I think it's so pretty with some of those spring decorations that I put on them. I ordered these little banner things from Amazon, and it came with the flowers and it came with these little pom-pom balls, and then I also ordered this little Easter sign as well. And man, I think it's gorgeous. So what I have going on up here are begonias. These begonias I got at Callaway's of Little Elm, and let me tell y'all, Callaway's of Little Elm, Texas, if you guys are local, visit them frequently, especially at end of season. Like this was purchased at late winter, and I got another super clearance deal in late summer one year of hostas for $1, but these begonias were $3 and they were normally $16.99. And so that was a huge steal. I picked up 5 of them for $3 each, and they're even like spring colors. This one is yellows and peaches. This one is pinks. This one down here is yellows, and this one just came back in from inside my house. I got them when it was pretty cold, so they had to stay in my house. So this one, it doesn't look the absolute best, but it will spring back to life pretty soon. This one's been out longer, so it's doing better. Another yellow begonia, and then another like peachy color as well. So for $3, and it makes this tier, like 3-tier planter look amazing. Like, oh yes, please. I also picked up these Ajuga on clearance, just generic Ajuga, didn't say what type, at was it Lowe's? Yes. And they were, I want to say, $2 on clearance. So this is actually 3 Ajuga plants, 2 or 3, I can't remember. And I planted them in this pot, and they are blooming. They're so pretty. Look at those. They're just beginning to bloom. Those are gorgeous. This guy, poor thing. This guy is an endless summer hydrangea. I don't know if you can see that, but it is alive. It does have some new growth right there, but it's just not coming along very fast. I don't know if it will survive. This was propagated from some of the endless summer hydrangeas that I have in my side yard. So anyway, let's see. I have another Ajuga right there that's flowering. And then again, clearance plants. I'm all about the clearance plants, y'all. These I got for $1.25. These are foxtail ferns, $1.25 at H-E-B on clearance. This was a leather leaf fern on clearance at Lowe's. That was, I want to say, $4 on clearance. But it's just not loving life. It's not doing well. So not sure if I'm going to do leather leaf fern again. But it was worth the try on clearance for sure. And then another foxtail fern for $1.25. These should pick up and do really, really, really well. And so, yeah, I mean, you'll notice I haven't planted these in yet. I still have so much work to do. I've planted some things, but just haven't gotten around to planting those foxtail ferns. But there you go. And if you'll hang on, let me show you the curbside planters that I have. I tend to forget these every time because they're a little bit separated from the garden, but they're a big part of adding to my garden. So let's see what we've got. So here are more of those matrix pansies that I completely neglected and just barely planted 2 or 3 weeks ago. So as far as that goes, I mean, they've been rock stars, to be honest, based on how I've treated them. They should be dead, but they're not, and they're doing well. And then if you will see, This guy right here is Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia. And it is the most amazing plant ever, y'all. If you see Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia and you are in a hot climate, grab it. It is hardy down to zone 7, which we are zone 8, but because it was in a container, I definitely needed to cover it when we got to zone 8 temperatures. And so this one overwintered really, really well. And as you can see, it's coming out everywhere. So I expect, and it grows fast, y'all, this grows so fast. So I expect to see blooms here probably in the next month. But that's doing well. This planter is the same exact thing. Well, kind of. It has the matrix pansies that I neglected. This Mystic Spires is, now don't let this fool you. I'm going to show you what this is in a second, but I only have like 2 spots of new growth on the Mystic Spires. So here's one, and then here's one. The rest of it does not have any new growth yet. So, oh, nope, actually, this whole stem has lots of new growth coming out. So this one is slower to emerge than the other one, not quite as advanced, but it's still alive, so that's exciting. And then one thing that is different with this one is this again is Superbina Sparkling Amethyst. And I planted just one of these. I didn't have any other place to put it, so I put it here. And I didn't do it in the other one, which I regret. But I just really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to keep it alive under this Mystic Spires Blue Salvia to compete with it, because nothing was able to compete with the Mystic Spires Blue Salvia. Let me tell you, it was amazing. But it did. The Superbina Sparkling Amethyst competed against it perfectly. It sent runners all through. So it's going to be all through this planter. And it blooms beautifully as well. I see one bloom starting. So for whatever reason, this one is a little bit further behind than the one in my garden. And I think it's because it's more protected. This is not protected in any way except for the, severe temperatures, cold temperatures that we got. I covered this up because I wanted to keep the Mystic Spires Blue Salvia alive. So I was successful. I was able to overwinter Mystic Spires Blue Salvia, and that will be absolutely beautiful here pretty soon. So there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me along in this March 2025 front garden tour. I'm so incredibly happy with how things are going. I can't wait to see how this bed is going to shape up. I forgot to mention, since I remembered now, this back part is going to be completely transformed this year. I have grown a lot of perennial seedlings, annual seedlings, and I need places to plant them. And since this back part is pretty well not filled in, I'm taking out that Salvia Gregii, I have decided, and there was another one over here that didn't make it as well. So that's coming out, and then Rudbeckia is coming in, Gomphrena is coming in, some taller forms of zinnias are going in, State Fair zinnias, let's see, I have cupcake mix zinnias, like all kinds of things. I have winterstone seedlings ready to go, and that's actually, I'm going to try to get that done today, if not tomorrow, and see if I can get that done. But this flower bed is going to be transformed, I think, this year, and it's going to be a spectacular growing season. So thank you so much for joining me. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe to my channel. I'm a gardening channel that you can expect to get monthly content from. I have front garden tours, backyard garden tours, container garden tours, garden maintenance videos, favorite flower or favorite plant videos. So please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you join us. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Goodbye, everyone.